Hello and welcome back. It's a sales video, and it's always good to have sales videos. And if you're new here, I make them when I have 200 in sales or more. So to have sales videos back to back to back helps out. Any day that's 200 or more is good because if I do the math, 200 times 7, 1400, and you take the average math of what it is for all of my selling costs behind final value fees, shipping costs, any sort of promoted fees, offsite promoted amounts, and all that falls right at that 33%. I just put a picture of that up a couple videos ago. So even at it was 1,500, that's 450. That's still $1,000 a week, and that's usually a lower. Usually, I think one of the videos yesterday or the day before kind of expounded a little more on sales were going up by 20% every quarter, and then they started going down since turn of the year. So I said in many videos, one way on how you as a reseller can accommodate for that is to buy stuff that has a sales history and list it. And speaking of sales history, so that game, the Tesla Effect game. So it's actually a Tex Murphy. So I did some more reading up on it. So Tex Murphy, I'm not sure if it was also console, but primarily PC. It's kind of a an adventure game series. So what it turned out to be is some company bought another company, and that other company had the rights to Tex Murphy, or they're the original makers of Tex Murphy. And at some point, the people who developed Tex Murphy didn't have the rights to it, and then a handful of years later, they got the rights back. They couldn't come up with quite enough funding to continue a different installment of Tex Murphy. As a result, they started to crowdsource to come up with, I want to say the amount was 450,000, and the people who were developing the game came up with the difference of 300,000 or whatever. There is a wiki, and this is I'm pulling from the wiki of what I read. So there was enough money to put it into development. There was enough money to make copies. There wasn't enough interest, unfortunately, across the fan base for it to be mass produced, and eventually just went to digital. What I did read on the wiki is not the quantity of the physical copy. I didn't see that anywhere. I was just looking for numbers. It may be on there. I was just looking for numbers of 3 and 4. Not the numbers 3 and 4. 3 digits or 4 digits to let me know were there 420 of them made, or were there 9,999 of them made. I don't know. So when you look up anything about Tex Murphy or Tesla Effect, not much is going to come up on it. Just either like fan base stuff, a little bit in the wiki, and I didn't delve any more beyond that. I got just the basic crux of what I needed to know on why it gets the money that it does. How it happened to be up here in a thrift store just east of Cleveland, I don't know. There could have been, this is mere speculation now, there could have been like a game con of some sort. I don't know the exact name. I don't even know if there was one up here. Well, there have been. I don't know if there was one up here that had that game, or the makers of Tex. I have no idea. Maybe that was a contributor to the crowdsourcing. Slightest idea. Since it is a franchise, it does hold quite a bit of interest. And when I listed it yesterday, Bruce, are you Rigby? No, you're Rigby. When I listed it, it was the second item I listed, and I put up 30, 38 or 39 disc media yesterday. And I think one's already sold. And I put all the other ones away. What I had listed would have been sitting around, filled these boxes back up. But when I listed that one yesterday, and as I'm going through everything else, when everything was done, before I put everything on sale, and that took probably 2 hours, maybe a little more, to list everything, there were already 8 people that have looked at it, and 2 had it in their cart or their watch list or whichever. So I did send an offer out later last night before I went to bed. It went to 3 people. So in the span of 12, 14 hours, it got that much attention. I'll put a screenshot just of that specific listing up here, and you can kind of see that. So it is one of those that got attention, and it's pretty good for me to buy it for. It was most likely $3, and I got it cheaper than that because I at least used a 20% off discount, which wouldn't mean much at $3, but it was $3. Anyhow, the sales are more bread and butter. The total is $282 of 12 items. Let's go find out what they are. 4-year career DV, I don't know. Audiobook, 15. Mulholland Drive soundtrack, $50. 50. So soundtracks. When I say these are the things I'm looking for. Now I will grab a bunch of CDs and I'll set them through my hand. When I'm eyeballing, I'm looking primarily. I'll grab anything that's strange, different, or things that I already know. But when it comes down to just the type or the subject, soundtracks, compilations, best of, very best of, definitive, multi-disc, all that stuff is what I'm picking to look. This is a $50 soundtrack. Probably paid $1, 50 cents, $2. I don't remember. I remember it being in a sourcing video. A sealed pack of Congress bridge swap cards. So I don't deal a lot in the cards anymore. I don't remember, I watched a video a handful of years ago that specialized, and maybe it was the auction professor. He was talking about bridge and swap playing cards, and I have picked some up. A lot of times the stores will just slide in all kinds of good ones. There was a set sold for $250. Mazda Edison ones, those are in a sourcing video. I think they're like $220 or 200. Piece of coffee. Ooh, little piece, little ground. Because when I went that way, coming back, I took a sip of coffee. Ooh. All right, still breathing. The Mazda Edison, the set, I don't remember, $250 for the 2 decks. This one is not that. This is $14. All right, but I used to buy a bunch of these, and after I had listed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of sets, I will give it a basic look if I'm even in the section where playing cards would be. Fantima, just got this. I don't know, hasn't been sticking around for a while, a week to change maybe. Didn't pay much for it. 50 cents, I don't remember. But if it's listed at, well, it was listed at like 11, $12, sold for 10, so it's one of those. They came in, no, it's 11.23 is what it was up for. They came in for $10. Take it. So I'm not out of anything. Mobile Suit Gundam 28. My Little Chickadee DVD sealed 11. That's probably the only reason why I got this, because it was sealed and it does have a selling rate. So for me to spend $1 on it, maybe, I don't remember, for something that would eventually sell for 10, 11, 12 bucks, the biggest reason is because it's sealed. Open ones are probably $5. Black Heat DVD 16. Christopher Cross 2-disc Walking in Avalon CD set 20. 4 more of these real small butter packs. So it's been a little while since I sold some of these, so I got a box that had hundreds of them in it for like $5 years ago. I don't know. The main picture right here doesn't have a date stamp, so it's been pushing 3 years probably. But 17, and I sell 4 of these off quite frequently. They fall in the 12-ounce range, so it's a little cheaper for shipping, but still something else that's gone. I don't really like shipping because it takes a box and an envelope, but ultimately that box and envelope are 35 cents. A pair of Oakley 4+1 square frames. So these, yes, they have the lenses. Right, so that's the coating. So this is what will happen if you leave these on your dashboard or on the back dash. And the sun hits it and it stays there. Your vehicle stays parked. I don't know how it happened. But even for these, for the $1 or $2 I paid for them, I still got 32 for the frames. People are going to pop these out, but just for the frames. You know, somebody sits on them, breaks them, whichever. I don't know. I don't care. They paid me. And this little card, Oracle of Kabbalah, or Richard Seidman. So I want to show you this. All right. So this is from an account, and this is what this person has left for others. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but here we go. All kind. It looks like they ordered from the same person and left a different worded feedback for everything. Look at that. Page 2. No. And this buyer has been around for almost 9 years. In August, it'll be 9 years. And that's what they do, and they're still leaving negative feedbacks. No. And in one way, just stopping and this buyer here, this user, came in. The reason on how I'm able to access this is because they came in and offered me $8 on one of the Quest model kit catalog books that have regularly sold for 15, 18 bucks. They come in with 8. No, man. I mean, no. And when people do that, and I brought it up, people do that and they come in with an incredibly stupid lowball offer. I could see maybe 10 bucks. All right. I think that's when I have 2 of them. 10 bucks. All right. I probably have 20 cents in it. Sure. But 8, half off. I mean, it registered 47% off of what it's listed at. Now, and it's already listed lower. I'm not trying to hold on and be like, oh, I got to get 15. If I don't, I'm going to go broke. No, it's a $15 item. Somebody wants it for 10, 12 bucks. Sure. 8, no. And then you can click on that person's feedback. And then you have to click on the negative. All right, you could click on any number of them, I guess, but you click on the negative, and then that'll take you to another page, and that page will show left for others. And you click on that and just keep on scrolling. So someone sent an offer of which went through, right? And so it's getting shipped out. And it was a little lower offer of what I usually would, but I know that it's something that probably won't sell otherwise. Well, soon. And I look, I'm like, you know what? And I see 3 pages. They've left positive feedback. No negative, no neutral. Cool, take it. And while I was standing here yammering on about a bunch of stuff that's going to get edited out anyhow, there's a cassette tape that's sold. This Chrysalis daily operations cassette. See here, it does have some use discoloration on the ribbon. It's enough for 25 though. All right, so that's 13 for 310. Get this stuff packaged, and I'm gonna head out a little west to a couple stores I haven't really been to in a while. Come back, rinse, repeat. So, like what you heard, like what you saw, thumb your thingy, comment, sub, share. They're all free. Helps me help you, and I get to help other people learn about physical media, how cheap it is, and how easily it sells. Appreciate it. Thank you.